Max and the Millions, Chapter 29. Help! Help! The world lay scattered and all was in darkness. Where are we? Save us, Great One! Luke had never known darkness like this before. It was like drowning in a sea of black. It made no difference whether your eyes were open or closed, or whether you were up or down. The only thing that proved you were alive was the screaming. Help! Somebody help us, please! Luke groped in the darkness. He was lying on the ground. He could feel sand beneath him. On every side, people were running and pushing and stumbling. Where are you, Great One? Help us, Great One, please! He's not listening. The screams died one by one. There was another noise cutting above them, a buzz that filled the darkness. Don't you get it, said the voice. The Great One was never coming. It was a trick, and you all fell for it. The buzz grew louder and closer. Funny, isn't it? You think it's all over, but it's only the beginning. Lights were beginning to appear overhead. They were inside a vast black dome, the roof towering high above. They were surrounded by the shattered remnants of their world, cities and streets and houses, a million lives heaped into junkyard piles. The entire floor stood huddled in fear in the centre of the sand. Do you know what this place is? Said the voice. It's called a bin bag. You, reds and blues, may find it hard to see, but not us greens. We've lived in darkness all our lives. You know, for a while I was even ashamed of it. Ha! The air was filled with war flies. The fly riders were holding torches, but instead of fire at the end, the torches glowed with a sickly green murk that illuminated the ground. But now I understand. It made us strong. It was preparing us for this. Ahead of them stood an enormous whale. Its mouth stretched open like it was about to swallow them whole. Standing on its tongue was the Bin King. Let's pick up where we left off, shall we? The warflies came crashing onto the sand and everyone screamed. People tried to run away, but it was no use. The soldiers were the only ones who still had weapons. The Bin King stepped forward, his mad eyes glinting. The age of the green floor has begun. From now on, the reds and the blues are our slaves. Anyone who dares to disagree will be executed. And that goes for the greens too. The warflies began separating everyone into different colours, pushing and shoving and tearing groups apart. It was chaos. Every time someone tried to fight back, they were shoved to the ground, or the fly riders picked them out with their whips. Stop! Luke fought to the front of the crowd. You can't do this, Bin King. The people won't let you win so easily. The Bin King watched him with mild amusement, then turned to the crowd. Behold, King Luke of the Blues. Who do you think was working with the demon all along to trick us? He pointed at Luke. The darkness, the fear, the misery. This is all his fault. Luke shook his head. They won't believe you any more, Bin King. They know what you are. The Bin King laughed. Oh, poor Luke. You really don't get it, do you? Luke cried out. Hands were grabbing him from every side. It doesn't matter if they believe me. The old world is gone. I'm in charge now. The crowd stood and watched in silence as Luke was carried away by guards. The Bin King was right. No one was fighting back. And whoever rules in the darkness rules everything. Luke struggled hopelessly. No, please, you have to stop him. But it was no use. No one helped. No one was moved. They just stood and watched. In the darkness, you couldn't tell who had red hair or green hair or blue hair. You couldn't tell which tribe was which anymore. Everyone was equal. All you could see was fear.